What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to talk about something that happened that will forever change the way I shoot, forever change the way I handle recoil, and on top of that, forever change how I hold a firearm and how it feels in my hands. And actually, it's been a pain in the butt. But also on top of that, you can see I am a walking contradiction right now, as I have a Glock t-shirt on, but I'm carrying my P365X. Like I said, if it's a good firearm, then I like it, then I have no problem with it. I am not just someone who sticks to certain brands and that's it. I do love my Glocks, but if it's a good firearm, like I said, if it's reliable, and also on top of that, for walking around the house and just being active, playing around, whatever, it's a great light carry option. So anyways, let's get into it. So anyways, my whole life I grew up BMXing, playing hockey, lacrosse, and basketball. Those were my three main sports that I loved. Towards the end, I had to cut it down to just hockey and lacrosse because of seasons and so on. But obviously, lacrosse, hockey, everything's wrists, right? You're always using your wrists. They're constantly being used. Then I became a new construction plumbing. That's what I do. I'm a plumber. I do new construction plumbing. So as houses are being built up, I do the plumbing for those houses. Never have to touch people's, already used toilets and so on. So I love it, and I actually love what I do, and I wouldn't change it for the world because I actually enjoy my job, my career. And what I want to tell you guys on that note is the trades are an awesome thing to get into. We're losing people left and right. If you want to make some good money, have a skill that truly matters, a skill that truly helps the world, and something that you'll feel fulfilled at the end of the day, knowing that you just built a house that a family could possibly move into, that kids are going to enjoy for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever. It's a great trade to get into. Plumbing, you'll never be able to get rid of plumbers. You'll never be able to get rid of the trades. They will always be needed. On top of that, you can help your family members, friends. You can make a lot of money on the side. And they pay good. Now, let's get into this. So, with that being said, there's a reason why I said all that. And it's because all those things involve my wrists, right? They all involve my hands, and they're constantly, especially plumbing, you're using a sawzall, a hammer, you're using an impact drill, you're drilling holes, that whole sort of thing. Lifting stuff, you're constantly using your wrist. So about, a year and a half ago, I had surgery on both wrists. As you can see right here, there's that scar, and there's that scar. And it was carpal tunnel surgery on both wrists. And I got it at a young age, but it's because of how active I was growing up. With all these activities, sports, and so on, and then also my career now. And it was so weird because it was actually pretty scary. Before I got the surgery, I'd be holding a glass of water and it would just slip out of my hand. Or I'd be holding something and it would just disappear. At night I'd wake up and I can't feel my hand and my wrist. It would just be numb. And it was the worst feeling. You'd have to get up and you honestly thought like you were going to lose your hand. So you'd have to shake it out and just sit there for 15 minutes, shake your hand out. It was terrible. So they said, you need to get surgery, you got to fix this young. That way you can go on to live a good, healthy life and keep doing what you're doing. But something came with it that I didn't realize. My daughter, is 4 now, and so she has obviously been learning to count, since 2-3 years ago. And it's been really weird trying to go 1, 2, 3. You see that? I can no longer go 1, 2, 3. I have to go 1, 2, 3 now. And that's obviously not traditional, and that's not what you're being taught at school, and other people can naturally just go 1, 2, 3. I can do 4, but the second that pinky goes down, now the other finger goes down. It's a pain in the butt, and I noticed it shortly after. Don't ask me why it is. I don't know if they messed up the surgery, but before I could very easily go 1, 2, 3 normally. But before that, I carried my Glock 27 a lot, chambered in 40, and I was really good with my 27. Really handled recoil really well. I still can to this day, but not as good as I could before. I'm just going to be honest. I really trained with that 40. Shooting 9 was like nothing to me for the longest time. And I got really good. Then I had the surgery. And they're like, you're not going to be able to shoot. I'm like, first of all, I'm definitely going to carry. I had my hands wrapped up for a month. I had to recover for 2 months or whatever. And I had them both wrapped. And for until the stitches healed or whatever. But I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to carry. So I went out and got the Smith & Wesson 380 EZ because I'm like, there's no way I'm going every single day of my life without a firearm on me. But in case I have to use it, shooting a Glock 27 chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson with messed up hands that are just fresh from surgery, I might ruin my hands for life. Let's just be honest. The recoil of a small subcompact after wrists that are all messed up. And it was a nasty surgery. They cut right here and they go in here and they snip some stuff and yeah. Anyways, and it was painful recovering. So I wanted something that I could, if I had to use it, it's going to do the least damage to me. I wasn't thinking about capacity. I wasn't thinking about anything like that. I was just thinking about having a firearm that if I needed to, I can use, that potentially won't ruin my hands forever. And so I chose the Smith & Wesson 380 Easy. It's only 8 rounds of 380, but I knew the 380 had no recoil, and I knew I could get away with still training a little bit because they said I shouldn't be shooting for a while. But I thought 380 would be fine. And I actually listened to them, and I didn't shoot for a long time to let my hands recover, and they still didn't recover the way they should have. Physical therapy, all that, still. Now, it's really, the reason why I say this is because I see a lot of people's grips on their firearms, they're off, or they may feel comfortable to them, but if you just alter a little bit, like something small about your grip, you can completely change your shooting experience. So after I came out of that surgery, my hands felt completely different. They felt free and good. They're not going numb, but at the same time, how I held a firearm felt different. Stuff that felt ergonomic to me before didn't feel ergonomic. The way my hands had to sit on a firearm just felt different, and it honestly really made me nervous and sort of upset. And that's why I went back to my 26 and 9 after I recovered a little bit, because I'm like, I shouldn't be shooting 40 with my wrists like this, and it just didn't feel right. So it took me, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months to get back to where I was as a shooter. And what I noticed is that my grip from before completely changed. And not in a big way, but it completely changed because just altering something so little completely changed my recoil control, my accuracy, and so on. And honestly, I was struggling shooting accurately for a couple months, and it was just how my hands were. And people don't realize that sometimes a grip that's uncomfortable, you're going to shoot the best with. Sometimes a grip that's super comfortable, you might not be shooting the best with. It might feel natural, but that might not be your go-to. So anyways, I talked to some people at the range, and honestly, a range instructor came up to me and said, hey, try that. I'm like, what is going on with my shots? Like, I never used to shoot like this. This is really frustrating. He's like, try this. It's going to be uncomfortable, but once you train yourself, it'll feel normal. Literally switched up my grip just a little bit, and then I went back to shooting again. I'm like, this is, it's a weird feeling because my hands are all messed up from the surgery, but it felt good after I started seeing I'm accurate again. So I just kept training like that. My brain is telling me, oh, that feels weird. But my targets are saying, keep shooting like this. So it's sort of like a battle, you know what I mean? It's like, this is what's working, but it feels weird. So basically all I did is, I'd get a ton of ammo, spend a lot of money on ammo. Every weekend I was at the range with the uncomfortable grip until I got it down. And then that uncomfortable grip after a month or two of just hardcore training felt natural. And now every time I pick up a firearm, I automatically go to that grip. So something big about shooting and grips is you want something that can handle recoil, but you also want something that's going to keep it accurate. Sometimes when you're fighting the recoil too much, that's how you throw shots. Sometimes when you have too much recoil, you can be shooting accurately, but it's going to feel weird on your hands. It's going to feel like the gun's jumping out of your hands. Also, what I see a lot of is people who are shooting, they have to adjust their grip after every shot. And these are even some of the biggest people on YouTube, some of the biggest gun influencers. You watch them, they're shooting, and it's boom, okay, boom, okay, boom. And it's like, you shouldn't have to be adjusting your grip. That grip should be solid, locked in there, and you want the recoil to take it straight up. You don't want it to turn your hands at all. You want it just straight on. And I've made videos about how I hold a firearm, how what percentages of your hand should be gripping what, and what actually handles recoil and what handles accuracy. So if you want to watch that, that is up on my channel. But I just thought I'd mention this just to say that, like, no matter what, you can always switch your grip to a better grip. You can always switch it up to handle recoil better or accuracy better, and sometimes it's worth trying that. Even a couple months ago, I took another defensive pistol class, and the guy was like, here, just alter it the slightest bit and watch what happens. And I did, and I listened to him. And so after years of shooting, I changed up my grip again, and now it feels natural to me again, and I'm shooting better than ever. So I just thought I'd mention that to you guys. You always have the opportunity to change your grip and get better, and sometimes it's a good thing to go outside of your comfort zone because the results might be better, and it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel awkward. It's not going to feel good, but after a month, 2 months of shooting like that and really putting thousands of rounds to your firearm, I promise you might end up being better than you ever were. So sometimes it's worth taking that advice, or at least trying something, because you might become a much better shooter, regardless of how it feels up here and here, but that target might look really nice at the end of the day. Anyways, just thought I'd tell the story. Thanks for watching.